So you can make anything familiar if you choose. Choose to make I am enough familiar. So we're going to learn to make positive thoughts super familiar and negative thoughts so unfamiliar that they just don't exist in your world. Many speakers are really good at telling you how to change your life, but what you really have to understand is how your brain works. So your brain should be your best friend. It should be your cheerleader. It should be your PA. It should work for you every day. So put your hand up if that's what happens. If your brain is your best friend and does what you want, put your hand up. Okay, I can't see all of you, but I can see a lot of you not putting your hand up. I've been a therapist for a long time, and when I was in school, my teacher said, well, Marissa, the brain is very complicated, and it really takes a lifetime to work out your brain, and then it takes another lifetime to make it work for you. I'm like, really? Well, I don't know anyone that has 2 lifetimes, and how can that be? At the end of my life, on my deathbed, I go, yay, I finally cracked how my brain works. Oh, what a shame. I don't have enough time to put that into practice. Couldn't be. Nature would never be so silly that at the end of our life, it explains to us finally how our mind works. I'm going to tell you 3 things about your mind, and if you use them, you can have anything that you want. So let me start with the first one. This is very important. Your mind's job is not to make you happy. If you think that's your mind's job, you're going to be unhappy, because your mind has a very important job. It's to keep you alive on the planet, actually against impossible odds. So how your mind keeps you alive is it listens to the words you say. So let's give you an example. You drive to work every day and you go, oh my God, this traffic is killing me. My boss is driving me crazy. My kids are making me go wild. I'm at my maximum bandwidth. Now, if you drive to work saying, this traffic is killing me, my boss is a nightmare, my job is driving me crazy, your brain starts to think, something is killing you, driving you crazy. Oh, it's your job. Well, better not go to that job anymore. But you seem to still go to that place that's killing you. Why don't I just make you sick? And I never have to go there again. Why don't I give you an ulcer or migraines or panic attacks? And so the brain will start to do that. And if you ignore it, it just does it more and more. Who here has ever said to themselves, what I would give for a week in bed? I'm so overworked. I just want a week lying around. And your brain goes, leave that with me. And the next week you get the flu. Anyone done that? A really bad cold, because your mind listens. You want a week off in bed. Here's the flu, which is not what you wanted at all. And even if you say things like, I'm dreading next week. I told my boss that I would chair a meeting, and I wish I hadn't, and I'd give anything not to go. Your brain goes, I'll just make you so sick, you can't even leave the house. So if you haven't got what you want, it's because you're not giving your brain very good messages. So I want you to think about this. If there's anything in your life that you haven't got, being motivated, putting yourself first, believing in yourself. I promise you, it's because your brain thinks you don't want that at all. And if there are things you'd love to have that you haven't got, and if there are other things you have got, like procrastinating and not believing in yourself, your mind thinks actually you like those things. So you've got to be very careful how you dialogue with your brain. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. But the most important thing is your mind does what it really, really, really thinks you want it to do, and it's always acting in your best interest, even when it's not in your best interest at all. So the best example I can think of is, let's imagine this is a classroom of children, and you've got to read a word out loud, and you're reading bridge, the word bridge, and you're like 6, and you get to bridge, and it's got a D in it, and you go bridge, and everyone in the class laughs, and goes, you can't even say the word bridge. And your mind starts to look at what's causing you this embarrassment, this stress. Oh, it's being in front of people. It's opening my mouth and speaking in front of an audience. Never do that again. And now you start to say things like, I'll never do that again. I'll never speak in public again. I'll never draw attention to myself again. And of course, you're 6. When you're 36, you've forgotten. And then you go to speak on stage, and a little voice in your head goes, oh, no, 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 don't do that. Remember when you were 6? Or maybe it just says, don't do that. So your mind is acting off old information. And what happens is one of 3 things. Either you go, oh, no, I can't speak in public. Oh, I just can't do that, and you don't. Or you try very hard, but all the time you're anxious, you're nervous, you're taking beta blockers. Or the third way, you say to your brain, I want this, I've chosen this, I like this. This thrills me, this elates me, this delights me, this sets me on fire. And then your brain goes, really? Okay, well, that's very clear to me. So that's what will happen. And all the resistance goes away. But it's down to you to say that. I've chosen this. I've chosen to feel great about it. And I want you to remember this. It's very important. You can say whatever you like to yourself because you have choice. You can say, that's killing me. That's a nightmare. That's a disaster. But you know what you can't choose? What happens to your body when you say, I'm at my maximum bandwidth. I'm dying under the stress. I'm falling apart under the pressure. So you can choose to say those words, but you can't choose what it does to your body. So why don't you choose to say, I love this, I like it, I've chosen it. And I'm going to give you a sentence that will change your life. I have chosen to do this, and I've chosen to feel great about it. So if you're building your own business and you're going to spend all weekend working on your website, you can choose to go, this is hell, this is so unfair, everyone else is out partying, I've got to work on this website all weekend and it's stressing me out. Or you can go, yay, this is great, this is my business, I want to work all weekend on my website. I'm choosing it, and I'm choosing to feel great about it. Because I promise you, your mind does not care if what you tell it is good or bad, right or wrong, healthy or unhealthy. It doesn't even care if it's true. It lets it all in. So let me show you how that works. So I want you all to just imagine that you're holding in your hand a big fat slice of lemon, just like this. So put your hand in front of your mouth, just like I'm doing. Put your hand right in front of your mouth right now. Look at the slice of lemon. Imagine you have that in your hand. Remember, your mind doesn't care if it's real or false, it will let it in. So close your eyes, hold your big slice of lemon in front of your mouth. Open your mouth, keep your eyes closed. Push that lemon into your mouth and start eating it. Suck out the juice. Chew that lemon. Start to swallow the flesh. Just do it. Because here's the thing, you don't want to see this and hear it, you want to do it. Seeing is believing. So eat the lemon, close your eyes and keep eating that lemon. And most of you will notice that as you even think about eating a lemon, what's happening? Well, you're pumping out saliva. Your mind's going, oh my God, you're eating a lemon. That's very acidic for your tooth enamel. Let's make lots of saliva to wash it away. So open your eyes. There's no lemon. Your mind doesn't care. And even doing that little test and maybe keeping a picture of a lemon on your desk will remind you, be very careful what you tell your mind. Tell it great things, you'll get great things. Let's do another one. Everybody stand up. And I want you to take your left arm and point it towards me. So now, I can't see all of you because of the light, but we're going to do this. So just practice not poking your neighbor in the eye. So when you're ready, everyone point your left arm towards me, and all you're going to do is this. You're going to push your arm as far back behind you as it will go. Do it now. And I want you to mark it. Mark exactly where your arm has gone to behind you. Just make a note. Bring it back. Drop your arm down. Close your eyes, and you're going to see how dialoguing with your mind works. So with your eyes closed, and you must keep your eyes closed, I want you to tell your arm to go a third further. I want you to say to your arm, when I repeat this exercise, you will go a third further. And now I want you to see all the muscles in your arm opening up like like elastic, like cooked spaghetti. So again, tell your arm you will go a third further. See it going a third further. Open your eyes, put your arm out, look at your arm and say to your arm, you will go a third further. And now watch as it does just that. Take your arm behind you, knowing it's going to go a third further. And watch as it goes more than a third further, because you told it to. Let's do the other one. Right arm up. Push it behind you as far as it will go. Please make sure to mark how far your arm has gone. Bring it back. Drop your arm down. Close your eyes and talk to your arm. How crazy is that? You're going to talk to your arm, but it's going to do what you say. You can talk to any part of your body, your heart, your lungs, your metabolic rate, your stomach, your digestion, and tell it to work perfectly, and it will. Tell your arm, you will go a third further. You're super flexible. I'm like a rubber bendy doll with a flexible arm. See it going further. Open your eyes, look at your finger, and now tell it to go a third further. Tell your arm to go a third further. And just watch again as it goes a whole third further and beyond, because you told it to. And now take a seat. Now you see, you can all be led off with saying, I didn't know that before. That's cool, but you know it now. So before you could be allowed to say, I'm a loser, I can't remember anything, my mind's like a sieve. You can't say that anymore. From today, you know your mind does what you tell it to do. So don't go, if I look at that cake, I'll get fat. Say, my metabolism is so great, I burn it all off. I haven't had enough sleep, so I can't function. I can function on 5 hours sleep or 4 sometimes. Tell your brain better things and you will get a better life. So now you understand the first rule of the mind does what you tell it to. So you better tell it better stuff. Second thing of the mind, really simple. It responds to 2 things: the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. He says, if I was about to shove a needle in my arm right now and was going, oh, that needle's going to hurt, I'd have a different image to someone who's saying, well, you know, I'm a bodybuilder and I'm going to win Mr. Universe. Or if I was in real pain, I would welcome that needle because it would take the pain away. If I was a drug addict, I'd be absolutely thrilled to shove that in my arm. I wouldn't go or hurt. I would go, yay, I'm going to be off my head in 2 minutes. Bring it on. So you can choose all the time. Your mind responds to the pictures you make and the words you say. And if you change the pictures and change the words, it changes your entire life. And those words, I'm choosing to do this, I'm choosing to feel great about it, signal to your brain, oh, you have a choice, and you're making a choice, and you like the choice, so I don't have to bring up any resistance. If you say, I hate going to the gym, I hate living on lettuce, I hate working weekends, your brain goes, I'm going to stop that right now. But when you go, no, I love it, love it, love it, want it, want it, want it, chosen it, chosen it, chosen it, your brain goes, I'm going to fill you up with energy to go to the gym, and you can love lettuce if you want to or not. And the third thing about the mind, and it's the one that therapists find the most perplexing, is your mind loves what is familiar. It doesn't really like what is unfamiliar. And you can't beat that, but you can work with it. So if you're brought up in a house where you never get praised and people go, well, you're rubbish, you're useless, no one's going to look at you. And then someone says, wow, I love that talk. You go, it's terrible. Didn't you notice I forgot the best bit? No, I didn't. Oh, yes, it was dreadful. I stuttered and it all went horribly wrong. So if praise is unfamiliar, when you praise people, they reject it. If you say to someone, I love that top, they go, I've had it for 5 years. It's got a hole in it. Because what's familiar is criticism. So not only do they reject the unfamiliar praise, they add in what's familiar, criticism. Now, if you want to have high self-esteem, there's one thing that will boost your self-esteem like nothing else, and that is praising yourself. You see, if I praised you and went, oh, yes, I love your outfit and I love your talk, and would you like my book? I've got an agenda. But when you say to yourself, I did a great job, I'm really good at my job, I've got a gift, I've got a skill, people like me, your brain lets it in just like that. But when you say, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with life, I'm just a loser, it lets that in too. So today, I'm going to focus on making something really familiar, and that is knowing that you are enough. You know, I've been a therapist, amazingly, for 30 years, and it didn't take me long at all to work out that when people come in with a list, here's my list. I can't sleep, I'm anxious, I eat too much, I fight with my partner, I can't seem to control my kids, and I'm always getting into trouble at work. Can you fix my shopping list? They go, yeah, because I know what's behind your shopping list. You just don't think you're enough. So when I work with bulimics and compulsive shoppers and hoarders and drug addicts and alcoholics, I've never met an alcoholic or a drug addict yet in 30 years who ever thought that they're enough. And they always say, you know, I drink to forget. And bulimics eat a lot because of this space inside, this emptiness. And shopaholics and hoarders are trying to fill this emptiness here that says, I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough, I'm not attractive enough, I'm not wealthy enough, I'm not successful enough, I'm just not enough. And I see that as a sickness. And I see clients come into my office every day and they all have the same thing. I just don't think I'm enough. I work with movie stars, Olympic athletes, rock stars, models. You know, we can look ourselves at the Amy Winehouses, the Whitney Houstons, the Heath Ledgers, Michael Jacksons. And they didn't die of drugs. They didn't die of alcohol. They died because they felt so not enough that they had to use substances to numb the pain. And you can't treat the alcoholism. You have to treat the feeling inside of I'm not enough. And I went to someone recently who was a chronic alcoholic and had never got married. He was 62. And he kept saying, yeah, but you know, if I wasn't an alcoholic, I could be married, but no woman would put up with how much I drink. And I'm like, no, you've got it the other way around. So I talked to him and he said that his parents didn't like him. He never had a birthday. They treated him as if he didn't matter. And when I asked him what was really the problem, he said, I have no love in my life. I've never had love in my life. No one has ever loved me. And I said, I can see that, but you know, it's never too late. You now have to fall in love with you. And you can have a relationship, you can have everything, because you're not an alcoholic. You just don't think you're enough. And I made him say, I'm enough, I'm enough. It was quite hard at first. He wouldn't say it. He cried. He got really upset. But then he began to go, I am enough. I've always been enough. And I said, every time you want to pick up the bottle, just go, I'm enough. I don't need that, because that doesn't make me feel enough. That makes me feel not enough. He never went to AA. He never took medication. He just stopped drinking overnight by saying, I'm enough and I don't need that. And if I drink that, does it take me towards being enough? No, it takes me away from it. And within a year, he was married. I went to his wedding, and it was a beautiful thing to see how just beginning to know that he was enough changed his life. So here's something else to consider about I'm enough. It's not unfamiliar. You might have made it, but does anyone know a baby that's born that says, I'm not enough? I better not wake up the house at 5 in the morning, because they don't like that. I better not ask for food. I better not throw up all over this clean white t-shirt because it might upset my mum. No, they don't care. Babies are born knowing they're enough, because when every single one of you was born, let me tell you what happened. Your mum looked at you, your dad looked at you, the doctor looked at you, the nurse looked at you, people came to look at you and went, oh, this baby's perfect. 5 fingers, 5 toes, 2 eyes and ears. And when your mother pushed you along in the stroller and someone went, oh, what a cute baby, you didn't go, don't look at me. I'm having a really bad day today. I've got milk spots, and my hair's a mess, and I just thrown up, and I've got a full diaper. Babies don't do that. You look in the pram, and they kick their little legs, and they smile that gummy smile and go, another person celebrating me. And no one in this room didn't do that. No baby says, I ate a cookie, I better run around the nursery for 3 hours because I'm so bad. No baby says, today I'm going to try really hard not to eat and be perfect, because they think they are perfect. You know, babies have no problem leaving food. Even if you give them chocolate, when they've had enough, they just stop. So I'm enough. It isn't actually unfamiliar. You've made it unfamiliar, but when you were born, it was a massive part of who you are. Do you ever meet a baby that says, I just can't get to grips with this walking, I think I'm going to quit. I keep falling over, or, you know, every time I try to eat a banana, I seem to put it in my ear and in my hair, so I think I'm just going to stop trying to feed myself. No, they just keep going because of the knowing that they're enough. Unfortunately, it does start to go away. We have teachers that say, oh, you know, everyone else in the class can write their name. Why can't you? We have parents that go, well, your brother, he can ride a bike, and your sister, she doesn't make a mess when she eats, and your cousin, they're really good at reading. And so we start to compare ourselves, and it's a terrible thing. But if you knew that you were born knowing that you're enough, and all you had to do was put back what was already there, then your life would change. So I'm going to tell you a story. So many years ago, I was in LA and I was working on a show, and my producer rang me and said, could you please go to Beverly Hills, because we have this major movie star who's falling apart, and if he doesn't turn up on the set tomorrow, it costs $10,000 a minute to film this show, and if he doesn't turn up, we're royally screwed. And you seem to be able to handle these people, so could you go and see him? I'm like, sure. And they said, now, what kind of car have you got? So I've got a red Mustang. It was a really cool convertible. I went, oh, no. You cannot put that on his driveway because he can only have Jaguars, thank you, or Porsches. So I'm like, okay. So I've got my I thought it was a rather lovely Mustang. I drove along to this big, massive, amazing mansion in Beverly Hills, and I hid my little inferior car around the corner. I couldn't even put it outside his house. And I rang the bell, and he opened the door. Most movie stars don't, but he opened the door, and he went, I don't know why you're here. I don't know why they sent some Brit to fix me. Do you know I've been in every rehab, every clinic, I've seen every therapist in LA, and no one can help me. Well, that's an interesting belief. I said, oh, I can help you. Anyway, we walked into this amazing house, and I said, wow, I love your house. He went, oh, I hate this house. My neighbors are hell. There's that word. And I'm moving. And then he said to me, you know, you look a bit like my fourth wife. I said, thank you. He said, don't thank me. He said, she was the biggest disappointment in my life. Okay, so he's had 4 wives. They've all disappointed him. Hates his house. Can't have anything except a Porsche on the drive. And then we go into the den, and he's got a BAFTA, which is the equivalent of an Oscar. And I'm like, oh, you have a BAFTA? He said, that's a curse. Do you know what that is like? Getting a BAFTA. He said, every time I make a film, I've got to get another BAFTA, and it's now a curse to me. But I wish I'd never got it, because I just feel this pressure all the time, because I'm a BAFTA-winning actor. And I went, oh, I know what's wrong with you. He went, no, you don't. I said, I do. I know exactly what's wrong with you. He said, what is it then? I said, well, you just don't think you're good enough, do you? And he said, really? Is that true? I'm like, come on, you know it's true. 4 wives that disappointed you, this incredible house that you hate, the Ferrari on the drive, the BAFTA is a curse. He was very overweight too, and I said, it's you. If I was a doctor, I'd go, okay, I'm a doctor, I'm diagnosing you right now, this is your illness, you don't think you're enough. Would you like a cure? Here's my prescription. Tell yourself you're enough. But first, tell me a bit about your life. He said, well, I was raised in a trailer park, we had no money. My mum was a nurse, but she worked at nights because she got more money. My dad was in construction. And of course, in the winter, often when it snowed, there was no work. And I used to make my dad's dinners because my mum was working nights. And he had a construction worker's dinner, meat, potatoes, vegetables. And I had bread and milk. Every night, bread and milk. But I cooked this dinner for my dad, and I never got it. And I said, well, did he share it? He went, are you kidding? My dad gave the leftovers to the dog right in front of me to show me that that's what I was. And I went, well, that's where it's come from. Let's look at this little boy. Mum's working nights, and all a child can think is, if my mum loved me, she'd be here. She prefers work, because they haven't got the intellect at 5 to work out what's going on. A child can only think one thing, my mum isn't here, I don't have a dad, we don't have money. Why is that? Oh, it's because I'm not lovable enough. Otherwise, we'd have money, and my mum would be here, and my dad would be nice. My dad prefers the dog because I'm not enough. All children turn it inside, because if a child works out and the parents are not very good, that's too scary. So they blame themselves. I said, okay, so you can see where this comes from. Mum's not there. Dad likes the dog. You get inferior food. You live in a trailer. And you think you're not enough. And that's why you've become famous, by the way, because you believed if you're a famous actor, everybody would love you. And finally, you'd think you're enough. But it doesn't work, because everyone does love you, including the 4 wives, but you don't love you. And the voice in your head is, I'm not enough. I said, so let's fix it. So he happened to hoard a lot of stuff too, classic symptom of someone who thinks they're not enough. And having had 4 wives, he had a lot of lipstick in his house, a lot of eyeliner, luckily for me. So we went around and I wrote it on his mirrors, I am enough, all over his house. It was a big house too. And I took his phone and I put on his phone alerts, I am enough. And it pinged every morning and it pinged every night. And I said, look, you can write it on your hand, write it on your t-shirt, write it on a cushion. I want you to say every morning, I'm enough, especially in the shower. What else are you going to say in there? I've run out of conditioner. You might as well take that time, we all shower every day, to say, I'm enough. Wire it into a habit and write it on your bathroom. So as you clean your teeth, you go, oh, there's that thing. I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. I said, you must say it over and over again, because you're going to make what is unfamiliar, knowing you're enough, so familiar that it stops being what you say and it becomes who you are. So he promised he would do it. It was better for him. He'd done all those other things. Anyway, weeks passed. I was working on my own show. He was working on his show. And I was walking to my trailer. I was like walking along. And I saw a man only about as far ahead of me as that chair. And as he got closer, first he undid his pants, then he undid his shirt. I'm like, wow, is this guy going to flash me on a movie lot in Beverly Hills? Where's security? But then I realized it was him. And he went, look, I've got so thin. I've got a six-pack. I've got a flat stomach. Because I say I'm enough, he said, you know what's amazing is I stopped eating donuts, I stopped binging, I just say I'm enough every day, and I seem to have fallen in love with my body, and I've stopped abusing it. I said, well, that's happened. He went, no, but guess what else? I'm like, what? He said, I've sold the Porsche, and I've got a Mini, because I'm not a fat, cranky bastard anymore, and I don't need it. And he said, and guess what else? I'm going out with a hairdresser. He said, I've never had a girlfriend that wasn't a model or an actress. He said, it's so normal. I'm just happy. Who would have thought those 3 words would change my entire life? I said, well, they do that. Their strength is in their simplicity. It heals your soul. When most of us wake up and go, I'm a goddess, your brain goes, you're not a goddess. You've got cellulite. And what should be up here is actually down here. So I don't really think you're a goddess, but it's you saying that. When you drive around town going, hey, yeah, I'm a rock star, I got my rock moves, your brain goes, but you're driving a car that's 15 years old and you share an apartment. You're not really a rock star, come on. But when you say, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, your brain goes, of course you are. That's how you were born. Why wouldn't you be? And so for him, it really healed his soul. There's nothing that I'm enough can't heal. It was so simple, but his mind let it in. So anyway, many, many months passed, and he called me, and he said, hello, it's me. Guess where I am? I said, I honestly don't know. He said, well, I'm in Iceland, and I'm fishing, and guess what else? I said, tell me. He said, I'm happy. I've never been so happy in my entire life. I'm just sitting with a fishing rod in a freezing cold place, and I'm so happy. And I said, well, good. And, you know, some of you here might go, you know, I know this, I've seen your YouTube, I've read your book, I know about I'm enough. But I want to ask you something else. What about your children? What about your parents? Or the people you're with? What about your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend? What about other people's children that you influence? You know, I'm enough isn't just for you. And everybody here says, I'd love to change the world, but that's really a big ask. Changing the world? I change people just one heart and one soul at a time. And I change them because I live, I'm enough. I say it in the shower every day. I don't go, oh, I'm getting a bit old, or, oh, this isn't quite the body I had 10 years ago. I just say I'm enough all the time, and I feel it. And I have it in all the mirrors in my house. So a couple of years ago, a plumber came to see me, and he went, why have you got that written on your walls? I said, well, you know, it's my philosophy. I really think that if every person thought they're enough, their children would go to school knowing they're enough, and those children wouldn't bully, and they wouldn't get bullied. So it's my philosophy. And he went, oh, well, you know, I've just got married and moved to a little village, and my son is really unhappy, really, really unhappy, and he's very angry. I've got a really angry kid. So shall I go home and write that on his mirror? I'm like, no, because you're dorky dad. But put it on the fridge, put it downstairs, write it downstairs and pretend it's for you. And he will see it and he'll let it in. It will happen quite quickly if you have it all over the house. Anyway, I must be the only person in England whose plumber couldn't wait to come back, got the part, and didn't even overcharge me, because he said, oh my God, it's changed my life. He said, my son, he said, he's still a nerd. He's a happy nerd. And he's got some happy, nerdy friends, and he's got a little happy, nerdy club, and he's so different. He said, but my wife, who was going through the menopause, is also completely different. She's happy too, because it's on the fridge, and every day at breakfast, we all think it. And I love that. You know, I wrote that on my mirror. It affected my plumber. It affected my plumber's wife. It affected my plumber's son. And my plumber said, do you think when I'm fixing someone's bathroom, should I write it on their mirror? I said, one day, possibly not quite yet, but soon the movement will gather momentum and it will be on everybody's mirror. And so I want you to do this not just for you, but for all the people around you. I have many, many teachers who write to me and say, you know, I studied with you, and now I say, I'm enough in front of the class. Every day our whole class stand up and say, I'm enough. I will always be enough. I have many doctors who say the same thing. I have a few mental hospitals who say, you know, we've now got that all around the walls, and we encourage the patients to say it because it seems to empower them. So let's all do it now. I want you all to say out loud, in your own language, I don't mind. I want you to go, I am enough. And I want you to say it like you really mean it. I want to really hear it, because we're going to keep doing this till I feel you've really got it. I'm enough. I have always been enough. And I always will be enough. And now that I know that I'm enough, everybody knows it too. You see, here's the thing about I'm enough. When you know that you're enough, you don't have to try to make someone like you. You know, with so many women who go, I want to find a great guy, so I'm going to get my hair done and my nails done, and I'm going to go on a diet, I'm going to get a great outfit, and I'm going to get everything waxed off, and I'm going to spend a fortune. And you don't have to do any of that. You just have to go, hey, I'm enough. I'm a great person. I deserve love. I'm worthy of love. I know I'm enough. He will too. And believe me, I will work with a lot of models who've got everything waxed off, and they look amazing. And they're not happy because they don't feel good enough, because they're on a race with no finishing line. You know, people who try to be perfect are, without question, the unhappiest people in the world, because there's a finishing line. It says, run towards that. Oh, I'm just going to move it over there. I'm going to move it over there. It's gone over there now. And they can never win that race because they can't even complete it. And I see sometimes men who go, you know, I want to find a great girl, so I'm going to act like I've got more money and rent a great car and pretend. Don't pretend, just be you. You're enough. And you know, when you know that you're enough, you do better at work. The people that employ you know that you're enough. The people that work with you know that you're enough. And some people say, but surely if I know I'm enough, I'm going to lie on the couch and eat potato chips all night. No, quite the opposite. When you know you're enough, you are inspired to go out there and get the life that you should have. You can actually ask for more money because you know you're enough. You can go for a better job. You can take that interview you thought you couldn't have. You can get your own startup and get customers to fall in love with your product if you know that you're enough. You can stay in the same relationship. Instead of trying to make other people like you and believe in you, all you have to do is like you and believe in you. And after all, that's how you were born. Babies are like puppies. They run up and go, hey, here I am. Do you want to celebrate me? If you kick them enough, they go and hide behind the fridge and go, actually, I don't think you like me after all. Puppies, kittens, babies, they know they're enough. And unfortunately, schools and many parents do a really bad job of making us feel we're not enough. So let me just quickly recap how your mind works and put it into I'm enough. Your mind does what you tell it to do. Tell it I'm enough. I can go to that interview and be phenomenal because I'm enough. I can get a pay rise because I'm enough. I can present the case for what I have to offer. I can really find my unique skill set. I can find love and keep it forever because I know I'm enough. Now, when you tell your brain that, giving it a very clear picture to work towards, your mind is like a missile. It will go towards the pictures in your head. And of course, the wonderful thing about the mind is two things, that as you move towards your potential, guess what happens? It moves, and it moves again. And none of you in this room could have any idea of what your potential is because it expands as you move towards it. And once it expands, it never goes back. You know, I was the most insecure kid. I thought I was hideously ugly. I thought I was stupid. I couldn't have even, in my wildest dreams, imagined standing on a stage, loving it, and talking to people like they were all my best friends. But I began to tell my mind what I wanted. And I started with I'm enough. And of course, the pictures I have in my head are I'm enough. The words I say are I'm enough. Your mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs. When you're going, I'm a loser, I'm stupid, I'm not successful enough. You can't have that picture when you're going, I'm enough, I've got a skill, I was born enough, I will die enough. I'm not the weight on the scales or the inches on the tape measure. I'm not the figures in my bank account. I'm not the figures of my age. I'm not the labels I'm wearing. I am enough. So you see the pictures in your head are changing. The words are good. Your mind understands that what you want is to know you're enough with such unshakable conviction that everyone else knows it too. And finally, what are you making familiar? I know I'm enough. And as I know it, everyone else knows it. And if they don't, well, that's not my problem. I know it. And what are you making unfamiliar? I don't think I'm enough. I couldn't possibly do that, go there, ask for that. So remember, your mind loves what is familiar. But you know what? None of us are running around in diapers anymore, so we clearly made that unfamiliar. We will manage to feed ourselves. So you can make anything familiar if you choose. Choose to make I am enough familiar. So let's say it a few more times until I know that you're familiar with it. Because if you do something enough, one more time, I'm enough. I'm enough. I want you to shout it out. I'm enough. Louder. I'm enough. And louder still. I'm enough. I've always been enough. I've always been enough. Until the day I die, I will always be enough. Until the day I die, I will always be enough. Because that's who I am. I'm enough. So thank you for listening. And here's one more thing to make familiar. Don't listen to this stuff and go home and go, that was interesting. Do it. Take action. Remember what Lisa said. Take action. Make it happen. Don't go, well, that was amazing, and I really liked that. Write it on your mirror. Put it on your phone alerts right now in this room, so every morning and night at 7 or 8, it pings with I'm enough. Make it your phone wallpaper. Write it on your cushions. Write it all over your house. Put it on your fridge. Don't hear this. Do it. Because if you want your life to change, this will change your life. Have you ever seen a child, especially a baby, say, I'm not enough? Imagine the first day that you're born and people come to the hospital to see you, and grandma or auntie or uncle or brother or sister or dad starts to count your fingers and toes, and the doctors and nurses look at you. No baby says, don't look at me. I've got these milk spots. I don't have any teeth. I've got triple knees. I've got a leaking diaper. Babies don't do that. When you look at a baby, they smile their big gummy smile. They kick their little legs. I used to push my little daughter out in her stroller. People were going to go, wow, what a gorgeous baby. And she never looked away. She would smile, her big gummy smile without any teeth, and kick her little legs with her triple knees and her chubby ankles. And she joined in with them and going, hey, yeah, look at me. Aren't I the cutest thing? And many of us find that hard to even believe. Really? I came onto the planet and I liked attention? Absolutely. In fact, babies demand attention. They cry in the middle of the night. They grab hold of your leg. They insist you pick them up because they have a belief that runs them, and it's this belief, I am worth it. So all babies are born with this belief, someone is going to come and meet my needs. Babies will cry for hours because the belief is someone is going to come and take care of me, feed me, change me, hold me, love me, be with me, because I'm worth it. No baby says, well, I'm not a rich baby, so I don't deserve love. I don't have designer clothes, I don't have a flat stomach, don't have a thigh gap or bikini bridge. They don't even know what that is. No baby says, I'm not attractive, I'm not smart, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough. No baby says, well, I'm just a stupid one. I just have this self-sabotage. I destroy everything. So it's important to understand that even if you may have forgotten, you were born like every single baby, wired to make it. That's why a baby falls down, they get up. They fall down, they get up. They learn to feed themselves. They learn to go to the bathroom. They get it all wrong, but no one says, yeah, you know, I never really got to grips with that going to the bathroom thing. It was just so complicated. I just gave up. No one does that because babies are wired to keep going, to keep going. They are like magnets wired to succeed at walking, talking, speaking, feeding. And you learn half of what you learn in your entire life before you're 5 years old. And that should be amazing, except many of us learn way before we're 5. Oh, my mum's unhappy, so I'm not enough. My dad's left, so I'm not enough. My mother prefers my brother, I guess I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not good enough. You know, one of my clients said the minute she was born, her mother would say, oh, I wanted an angel, I've got a devil. She's the devil. She's up all night and sleeps all day. She'd be the death of me. She said it in a very joking way. She loved that baby, but the baby picked up, oh, you wanted an angel and you got me. People say, oh, your baby's so cute. Come back at 2 a.m. You can have it. He's not cute. He's a nightmare. He's the devil. You have no idea what he's like. Or we change the baby's nappy. You go, ugh, this is so disgusting. Oh, yuck. And we forget that babies who are pure sensation pick that up. They pick up our voice tones. They pick up everything. People holding the baby on the hip go, yeah, well, she nearly killed me. I almost died giving birth to her. She ruined my body, ruined my relationship. So often parents say weird things like, I love you so much, I could eat you. That's a really weird thing to say to a baby, I love you so much, I could eat you. But we never stop to think about what we're saying to our children. And often we say these things to protect our child. Don't do that, it will all go wrong. Don't ask for that, you'll never get it. I want doesn't get. Don't show off. Don't draw attention to yourself. Who are you to ask for that? Don't put your hand up all the time. Don't take the attention of other people. And most of our parents do that because they really want to protect us. They're acting off their own limiting beliefs. That when you start to label a child, you're the greedy one, you're the noisy one, oh, this is my problem child. I was in the park with a friend and she said, this is my problem child. She loved that child. She had 4 children. This is the problem child. And I did have to say very nicely, don't keep saying that in front of him, because you know you are wiring him to become the problem child. That is now his identity. And so adults do it to protect us, to keep us safe. They do it as a joke. They do it because they think it's funny. But they pass on these limiting beliefs. People pass on limiting beliefs from parent to child to the next child. And then we begin this negative self-talk, this negative dialogue. I can't. I shouldn't, I mustn't. It's greedy to ask, it's greedy to want. Who am I to have more than other people? I shouldn't ask for more. People won't like me if I ask more. Nobody will like me if I'm different. I shouldn't show off. I should keep everything in. Don't cry, don't have a tantrum, don't make a fuss. And the problem is that this is bad enough on its own, but then we develop this limiting self-talk. I better not ask, I might not get. I shouldn't demand, I'll seem greedy. I better be nice, I better be good. I better please everyone else, because the only way I can get my needs met is to make other people happy. And we have these beliefs that really belong in our childhood. And it's such a shame. But at any time in your life, you can change your beliefs, you can upgrade them and find new ones. You know, I've upgraded my phone. If I hadn't, I'd still have this old Nokia brick. I loved my Nokia brick, and I thought, actually, I don't want that anymore. I think I'll have a BlackBerry. I think I'll have an Ericsson, and now I have an Apple. I don't even know what number it is, but I upgrade my phone every time a new, better one comes out. And that is exactly how it should be with your thinking. Upgrade your thoughts. Leave behind the ones that don't work. Don't carry around an old Nokia brick that isn't even charged and go, well, I don't know why this doesn't work. It worked 10 years ago. I'm just going to keep pressing the buttons, because it's gone. You've upgraded it. And it's really time to upgrade your thoughts, upgrade your beliefs, upgrade the way you talk to yourself, the way you talk to yourself. Your self-talk and your self-dialogue will define who you are, where you go, and what you do. Yes, someone else could go, hey, you're just the best thing in the world. You're the hottest thing, the smartest thing, the kindest thing. I could say to my assistant, you're the best assistant I've ever had in this company. You're the best. By the way, could you work all weekend? Could you stay late? Because you see, dialogue can manipulate people. So when other people praise you, they might just have an agenda. They don't always, sometimes they do. But when you praise you, there's no agenda. It sinks in. Whatever you say, good or bad, right or wrong, your mind lets it in. In fact, your mind doesn't care, and it doesn't even know if what you tell it is good or bad, right or wrong, useful or useless, helpful or not, empowering or disempowering, true or false. And since that is true, you might as well begin to tell yourself amazing things. You see, you make your beliefs, and then your beliefs turn right around and make you. So imagine this. I always mess up. I always get things wrong. I always blow it at the last minute. I seem to forget the most important things. When it comes to talking to people, I go bright red, I break out in a sweat, I panic, and I don't know what to say. Now these are words, and you can choose to say them, but you can also choose to say, I'm phenomenal. I always know what to say. The right things come to me. I'm so at ease around people. I just have a knack for making things work. My life is extraordinary. You can choose to be negative. You can choose to be positive. You know what? You can't choose what you do to your body when you go, that's going to go wrong. I knew I'd mess that up. Everything I touch falls apart. I'm just a loser. I'm just stupid. I'm an idiot. I got rocks for brains. I always mess it up. You can't choose what that does to you, but you can choose to flip that over I'm wired for success. Success comes to me. I'm naturally good at people. I have a gift for this one thing. I was given this gift. It's what I'm meant to do. I'm really good at it. I can do this. This has my name all over it. I can do this. Yes, I'm doing it. This is working out amazing. This is what I was meant to be, meant to do. This has my name. I can do this standing on my head. You see, you might go, well, that's a lie. But so is saying I've just got rocks for brains, because that's definitely a lie. And if you're going to tell yourself a lie, how about telling yourself a better lie? Everything I touch falls apart. Whatever I put my mind to, it works out amazingly. Remember, your mind doesn't know, doesn't care. So you might as well tell yourself amazing things. When you change your self-talk, when you change your dialogue and make it positive, your life becomes extraordinary. Here's a good example. I'm chronically tired. I'm dying of fatigue. Well, that's not true. How about, I'm a little bit tired. I'm also dehydrated. Tonight I'm going to have a great night's sleep. Tomorrow I'll be full of energy. I look at a cake and I get fat. That's a lie. Why not say, I look at a cake, I don't even like cake, but on the odd times I eat it, I just burn it all off because I've got a fabulous metabolic rate. You're beginning to see that you get to choose. When we have too many negative thoughts and almost become a negative person, that will really impact your life. It will lessen your quality of life. If you are negative and have negative thoughts, a lot of negative thoughts, and you become a negative thinker, a negative person, that will limit your happiness, your confidence, and of course your enjoyment of life. But no one is born negative. We learn that behavior. We learn to think negative thoughts. We learn what we live. We play the only part we've ever known, and then it becomes our own. And today, I'm going to show you with a free hypnotic audio how to stop those thoughts, how to replace them, how to change them. Because here's the truth. Everything begins with your thoughts. Your thoughts control your feelings. Your feelings control your actions. Your actions dictate your behavior, and you justify it all by how you think. So I know that changing your thinking will change your life, never more so than when you change negative thinking to positive thinking. So where does negative thinking come from? Have you ever met a negative baby that goes, don't look at me, I've got these triple knees and milk spots and no hair and a little fat tummy and a wrinkly little butt? No, never. Babies are naked with stuff coming out of their mouth, their nose, every orifice, and they still think they're lovable. They have no concept. All babies come onto the planet with positive thinking. I remember years and years ago when my little girl was tiny and I was talking to someone about money. She says, Mummy, you must never worry about money. If you go to the bank, they give you money. You see how her belief was? I was driving her one day and there was a vagrant lying on a bench. She said, Mummy, why is that man not having a home? I said, well, darling, he could have a home, but some people, unfortunately, live like that. They drink a lot of alcohol, they get in a bad place, and they don't have a home. And she went, oh, well, he's got a lovely garden to wake up to. When I say things like it's raining, she goes, Mummy, if it didn't rain, the flowers wouldn't get any water. And she was such a great teacher to me that she was naturally positive, naturally looked for the good. She'd see a puddle, that was great fun. She could jump in it. She'd see a worm. She was fascinated by its movement. She'd see snow. That was exciting. And unfortunately, we teach children to be negative. Now, my daughter would go say with my mother, come home and go, Mummy, I've got my migraine headache. This will never work out. We've gone all that way for nothing. We'll never find a place to park. They're never going to have what I want in the store. She was still 5 years old. So my mother, who I love dearly, was incredibly negative, always sick, and was probably a master in negative thinking. If I took her away, she'd go, well, they're going to lose my luggage, the plane will be late, it will never work out, they won't have the food I want. If I took her shopping, she'd go, they'll never have what I want, I bet it's out of stock. And she would be negative in advance of a situation. Let's go out for lunch. Oh, they won't have what I like. I took her out once and I remember her saying, there's nothing on this whole menu I could eat. I can't eat gluten, I can't eat dairy. And it was very hard to say to her, Mum, you're thinking these thoughts and making them real. I was lucky that my father was the opposite, very positive, and I obviously chose to be more like him. Doesn't mean I didn't love my mother dearly, but where does this stuff come from, this negative thinking? It will never work out. What's the point? Everything I touch goes wrong. I'm bound to be late. I'm never going to get that job. It won't work out for me. Everyone else will get that, but it just won't happen. Where does that come from? Unfortunately, it comes from the people that raise us. If you are raised by negative people who go, oh, that's never going to work out, don't even try that. Oh, it's a scary world out there, you mustn't go there, don't do that. Even when I sit in the park, I'd see children playing and I'd hear parents go, don't do that, you're going to fall, you're going to break your neck. You don't try and climb that tree, you're going to hurt yourself. Don't swing so high, you could fall. I'd say to my daughter, darling, when you're climbing a tree, look at your hands, look at your feet, be aware. I never go, you're going to fall now, you're going to fall off any minute. Because I'm telling her she's going to fall. And of course she's going to fall. She had plenty of falls, of course. But we often, with the best intentions, program our children not to take risks. It's a big, bad world. Don't expect much. You'll never do that. You can't be top of the class. Some teachers say that too. Oh, that's too much for you. That's too hard. That's above your reading level. And so we learn to be negative, to think small, to not aim high. And as a second thing in play here that's very important, we are hardwired and super coded to go back to what is familiar. Because 500 years ago, familiar made us safe and kept us alive. So our primitive brain in our very modern body wants to run back to what's familiar and run away from what's unfamiliar. But you can train that brain to make being positive familiar and to be negative unfamiliar. Sometimes I have a client who comes in and I talk, they go, well, that won't work. I could do that, but yeah, I could stop eating cake. But you know, cake's the cheapest thing. It makes me happy. And I have to say to them, you're not allowed to say but in this office. And we're going to focus on other things that you can do. I can see that you're instinctively going back to what's familiar. Other clients come in and go, you know, I always date losers and I actually really like bad boys and I'm not interested in a nice person. I go, no, that's just familiar. There's no one that's too good for you. They say, oh, they're too good for me. No, they're unfamiliar. You can make anything familiar. Here's the thing. The first time you take a bit of plastic and shove it in your eyeball, if you're wearing a lens, that is the most unfamiliar thing you can do. Your eye will water and go, get that foreign object out. But if you keep persevering with lenses, you can do that. Super familiar. And even do that and squeeze that lens off your eyeball and it's familiar. Peeing in a toilet wasn't familiar once. Getting food in your mouth without aid wasn't familiar. So we're going to learn to make positive thoughts super familiar and negative thoughts so unfamiliar that they just don't exist in your world. We're going to start right now. So all I need you to do is, if you're in a chair like this, sit back. It's much better if you can have your neck supported, but for the next 10 minutes, it's not essential. Uncross your legs. Don't sit like that because that's a closed position. Sit with your hands open if you can, your feet and knees apart. Also stops you fiddling. And just get ready to understand that we're going to make being a positive thinker so familiar that it stops being what you do and becomes who you are. And I promise you, I guarantee you, it will change your life. So make yourself comfortable. And remember, hypnosis is not scary. You are not going to sleep. In fact, you're going to wake up to the amazing possibilities of who you are and what you can do when you choose to think positive thoughts, because it is a choice. You know, I've many times got in a taxi, returned to London, drivers going, oh, where have you been? America. Oh, lucky you, you know, this country's finished. It's gone to the dogs. Like, I'm really sorry. I have to make a phone call now. I shut the partition because I choose not to get involved in that dialogue. Oh, isn't it terrible? What an awful world. It's dreadful. I prefer to sing that song. I think to myself, what a wonderful world, because I can choose. And the way you feel about anything is down to the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself today. And for the rest of your life, if you choose, you can fill up your mind with positive thoughts and pictures. And because your mind can only hold one thing, you can't then have negative words and pictures too. You can't be happy and sad, excited and terrified, feeling grey and in pain. So let's go. All I want you to do is to look up like that, the same position your eyes go into and you naturally drift into sleep. I want you to look up. And the trick, and it is a trick, is to keep your eyeballs up but to close your lids down. Let's do that now. Look up. Keep your eyeballs up as if you're looking here, but keeping your eyeballs up, close the lids down. And if you can do that, and you just did it, you can't stop yourself going into beautiful healing hypnosis, which is safe, which is wonderful. It's rejuvenating, it's restoring, it's repairing, it's powerful. Hypnosis has changed my entire life, and it can do that for you. It's nothing to be scared of. You can come out of it at any time, but you're really just going to hear my voice guiding you like a meditation. You will like it. So let's get ready. Feet apart, hands not touching. Look up as high as you can. Keep your eyeballs up. Keeping your eyeballs up. Breathe in and breathe out. And take another deep breath. Breathe in. That's good. Breathe out. You're not looking at the screen anymore. Your eyeballs are rolled up. So one more time. Breathe in. Keep those eyes up for just a few seconds more. And keeping your eyeballs up. As you exhale, keep your eyeballs up, but just close your eyelids right down, all the way down. That's it. Just close your eyelids down. Breathe out. And I want you to drop your chin down now so you have that same looking down feeling that you might get as you look over a balcony or down a flight of stairs. You are looking down 10 steps. And as I count backwards, you can see your feet and hear your feet and feel your feet treading each step. This is safe, deeply relaxing, powerfully healing. You are looking down 10 steps. You have that looking down sensation. You are moving on to step 10. As each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You are taking step 9 as you gently, calmly, easily move on over to an even deeper level. You're taking step 8. You can see your feet connecting to every step as you go deeper. You're taking step 7. You can hear your feet touching each step as you go deeper. You are taking step 6. You can see your feet, hear your feet, feel your feet connecting to every step as you go deeper and deeper into a beautiful, profound awareness of yourself. You are taking step 5. And you're now going deeper with every sound around you, every sound, every noise. Your own breathing, your own heartbeat are taking you deeper. You're taking step 4 as you gently, calmly, easily, beautifully drift into the most wonderful state of healing hypnosis. You're taking step 3, going even deeper still. You're taking step 2 as each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. And now you're taking step 1, just go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper. And as you go deeper, you are listening with your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is taking in everything. And as you go deeper, you're suddenly remembering being a tiny newborn baby. And when you're a tiny newborn baby, the first thing that happened to you is that people assessed you. They counted your fingers and toes. They looked at you. People came to see you. And you never looked away and said, don't look at me, I'm having a really bad hair day or no hair day. As a baby, you were born with endless possibilities. Everything excited you. Every new day was exciting. Babies can spend hours looking at their fingers, looking at a mobile, staring at the leaves in a tree. And they are happy. And you were born like that. And even if you think you have forgotten, right now you are starting to reactivate, re-manifest, regenerate, and recreate that powerful ability you were born with to be positive. And as you go deeper, you're understanding something that you remember forever. You get the chance to change twice every day for the rest of your life. You can change twice each day. The first change is in the way you think, and the second is in the way you act and react. And you have decided right now to be positive. Being positive is a decision. Decision is a Latin word that means to cut off from. You have made a decision to be positive. And every day you're going to think and indeed say this expression, I am choosing to be positive and I'm choosing to feel great about it. I want you to say that out loud right now. Repeat after me. I'm choosing to be positive. I'm choosing to feel great about being positive. I'm choosing to be positive. It isn't even what I do, it's becoming who I am. As you begin to repeat those words to yourself every day, every time you play this recording, and many times throughout the day, you are sending a clear message to your mind. I want to be positive. I choose to be positive. Being positive is a choice. It's a choice I'm making, and I like it. I love it. I love being positive. I choose positive thoughts. So as you go deeper, just hearing these words is causing your incredible inner mind to hear what I'm saying and beginning to manifest it right now. Just hearing it is causing your mind to act upon it. Your inner mind has no choice but to act upon the words you say. Let's say it again. I'm choosing to be positive. I'm choosing to feel great about being positive. Being positive is not what I do, it's who I am. Who I am is positive. I want you to say that, to think it, because as you say and think it, you are becoming a walking, talking, living, powerful, impressive example of a positive person. And you know you have a choice. You look at any event and go, well, how could I make this positive? What's positive about this? I went to Cuba with my husband. He lost all his luggage. I lost most of mine. And it was so wonderful. We wore the same clothes every day. It was great not to have to think, what shall I put on? It was incredibly freeing. I actually really saw the benefits in that. And that's when I learned to say, what's good about this? What's great about this? How can I make this positive? And I want you to think, how can you make every thought positive? How can you go through life being positive? Well, the easiest way is to look at a negative thought and to flip it over. That will go wrong. It could go right. Who will like me? Why wouldn't people like me? I can't do that. I can do it. I don't know enough. I will learn enough. What's good about this? What's great about this? What can I learn from this? And every day my words are going in, sinking into you like lotion on dry skin. When you put lotion on dry skin, it sinks in and it nourishes you. And the words on this recording nourish you every day. They sink in, they make an impact, and they remind you of a truth. The way you feel about everything is down to the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. And you are making positive pictures and positive words because that is your choice. You choose to fill up your mind with positive images and positive words, no matter what. No matter what, you get to choose those two changes every day. You choose to put positive images in your head. You choose to use positive words always, always, always. And you choose something else. You choose to remember your thoughts control your feelings. Your feelings control your actions, and your actions justify your behavior. And every day you remember to take that right back to the truth. The only thing you can really control are your thoughts. And as you make your thoughts positive, your life is changing in the most powerful way. As you make your thoughts positive, your life is becoming wonderful, extraordinary. I want you to imagine you know someone who is a positive thinker. We can all find someone, even if it's on the screen. What would they say every day? How would they run their life? How would they cope with adversity? How do positive thinkers talk? How do they conduct their life? What do they do? They say things like, well, sorry it didn't work out. Sorry you don't like me. I like myself. Oh, you really can't reject me because only I have the power to reject me. That's unfortunate, but I believe something good will come of it. You see, you can choose. So imagine you're metamorphosizing into someone positive. That positive thoughts and beliefs are just melding into you, merging into you, that positive person that you know of or know. Their thoughts are becoming your thoughts. Their words are becoming your words. Your words shape your reality. You have chosen to think positive thoughts, to speak positive words. It's already changing your life. And one of the fastest ways to be super positive is to say things like, I can, I always, I do. Remember, the words that follow I am will follow you. So let's end this amazing hypnosis recording with some I am statements. I am positive. I am always positive. I can always see the positive in any event. I always do see the positive. I look for the positive. I find the positive. See, here's another truth. Whatever you look for, you will find. Repeat after me. I am positive. I am always positive. I am a positive person. Being positive is who I am. I think positively. Thinking positive is who I am. It's what I do. It's me. I am positive naturally, instinctively, intuitively. I look for the positive, and when I look for it, I find it. What I look for, I find. I invite you to repeat those statements and any others many, many times as you play this audio. I am, I can, I always, I do. And let me know how fast you change. And remember, you can change who you are and how you feel every day by using positive words. And if you think a negative one, just flip it over and say the positive instead, because your mind doesn't know and it really doesn't care which one is right. Choose the positive and you are choosing to change your life. So knowing it, feeling it, and more than anything, becoming it. This is not what you're going to do. This is who you are. So knowing it, believing it, making it so, being committed to make it so, you can just slowly, calmly, easily
effortlessly just come back to your full awareness on the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. You can open your eyes and just be here. Of course, if you ever play this before sleeping, you can drift straight back into sleep. And if you'd like to know even more ways to boost your self-esteem completely free, just click the link below and take my Boosting Your Self-Esteem workbook. It will really help you. Check out my next video here. Play the only part we've ever known, and then you make that part your own. Where you go, you know what? I think it's time for a new part. I was told I could never ever have children. My whole RTT training was based on being told I couldn't have a baby.